financial problems, elder law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic, the triple whammy. Disabled with tax and debt problems. Jenny Lingl.
Hi, Ken. Good to be here today.
Nice to see you. Speaking of disability, Brian Small.
I'm just not even going there this morning. But I got to tell you something. There's a whammy with your name on it, I assure you.
Pat Simasco.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Only kidding, Brian. Jeffrey Kirshner. This is your topic. We got disability in here today.
I know, and I thought I had a client for a second here over there, Mr. Disabled.
You might have a client
He meant
after the show, but it's
liability.
going to be sitting over there. It could be me.
All right.
Need Corey will be
You're
a criminal case
you're all
too, I
eligible.
bet.
Coffee cup into the head problem. Okay. Case study, Jerry and Rita. Living the dream.
Wait, can I just make sure of something? The names of the case study people are Jerry and Rita, not Mary and Martha.
And not Mike and Rita, because Mike and Rita were our original case study people,
And not
going back to the financial crisis talk
and
center.
not Margarita.
Right. Oh, cute. You've been waiting for that
Oh,
one.
gee.
Jerry and Rita. That you should have done last week. Jerry and Rita. Living the dream. Jerry's
It
a
wouldn't
house
have been
painter.
funny then.
Rita's an administrative assistant. Jerry makes $80,000 a year, works very hard. Rita makes $45,000 a year.
She doesn't work as hard.
She works very hard. They've got 2 kids, one in college at MSU, the good school, other one in high school. Jerry's back and neck always hurts. He's always painting 6 days a week. When I say they're living the dream, I meant it from the standpoint of finances are extraordinarily tight. They work very hard. Here's where they're at.
Nightmares are dreams too.
$75,000 in credit card debt for Jerry. Rita's got $30,000 in credit card debt in her name. They owe back taxes from 2014, 15, and 16, all from Jerry being self-employed for $48,000 because Rita's taxes are withheld from her paycheck and she gets a W-2 every year. Their total debt's $153,000. They got $40,000 of equity in their house. Rita has an IRA of $75,000. They got cash in the bank, $5,000. That's it. Now the whammy. Jerry falls off the ladder while painting, severely injured. He's not going back to work. Best hope to be able to get around with a cane eventually. Their income's gone from $125,000 to $45,000. This is the team. What do we have to say about how to address their issues? What do you see? I want to start with Jeff from the standpoint of Jerry and disability.
All right, well, a couple things with Jerry and disability. First of all, self-employed, so we are looking at possibly, if he's going to be off of work for a while, either short-term or long-term disability. Why I say that as opposed to workers' compensation is that he's not an employee, he's self-employed. You can only get workers' compensation if you have an employer-employee relationship.
All right, so if Jerry was earning wages
Working for
and
somebody
getting
else.
a W-2,
Correct.
then he would be eligible for workers' comp and disability insurance?
Right, so he'd be entitled to workers' compensation the moment he gets injured, whether he doesn't miss a minute of work or whether he's unable to work for the rest of his life, automatically entitled to his bills paid.
How much kind of compensation would that be? Because he's going from 125, he was making $80,000 a year. What would he get on workers' comp? And I'm telling you, he's not going back to work. He's still in the hospital.
Right. So with workers' compensation, he'd get about 85% of his net income. So it's a little less than what he'd get for his wages.
But it's
Yet
tax-free.
It's tax-free. So you still get a little less in comp than you do working. The nice thing is it is tax-free.
You know, big lesson here, because Jerry is self-employed in our hypothetical here, but Jerry has a choice. He could have his own company, be self-employed, and not opt. You have an option to opt in or out of paying for your workers' compensation insurance when you're an owner. Most of the time, the owner elects not to pay workers' compensation on himself, and then he has no coverage.
Well, if you're sitting in an office,
you're
that's one thing. You're
correct.
getting a paper cut. Okay?
Right.
If you're a painter,
or a roofer, yeah.
you're doing manual physical work, you should have the insurance.
Well, I gotta-
look at the coverage difference.
Yeah, but I got to say one thing though, and it's a quadruple whammy at that. Many self-employed people, they don't want to pay taxes, right? So they may not be reporting all of the income, which means they're not paying as much into Social Security, and their Social Security disability is based on how much income.
That's the guy who takes cash.
Right, the cash, or they expense it a different way. And that means if you do become disabled, your Social Security check will be a lot less because you don't have the work history.
True. So a couple things. Going back to coverage, again, I would recommend to anybody working, self-employed or not, to get a disability policy. The younger you are, the cheaper it is. You never know what happens. A disability policy, even if you're self-employed, would not only cover your work-related problems, but covers your non-work-related problems, your heart attacks, any weird things going skiing, for instance, Pat, that hurt your knee and you can't work, you need coverage. So get a policy. So that's with regard to the short term. Long term now, if he's going to be off of work, and it's anticipated he's going to be off of
He's
work
not going back to work.
for 12 months or longer, then we're looking at a Social Security disability standpoint. I really wouldn't look at that case until it's been about 4 or 5 months that he's been off of work, because you have to be off for 12 months or longer, or the anticipated duration of your disability has to be 12 months or longer. But that's a second step. But again,
And the first step, should Rita call you right away?
yes.
He's disabled, so that you give her the guidance as to what she should do.
Right, because first of all, short term, you are Shrek. You don't know where money's going to come from. You're going to look into comp. You're going to look into short-term disability,
Credit
possibly
cards.
go into long-term disability, and then we're going to map out a plan to look down the road for Social Security disability.
You just popped in an interesting point, and we're coming up to a break. But before we get to the debt and the taxes and everything else. Okay, all of a sudden your income goes from 125 to 25 to 45, and you need to cover your expenses, and you still have available credit on your credit cards. Do you continue to use those credit cards, take cash advances, use them for expenses, or do you have to stop because you know you have a financial problem? We'll come back after the break and address that.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
A lifetime of hard work. If you don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your savings, and more. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Samasco Law wants you to know that laws are changing. Today, the average cost of nursing home care is $85,000 a year. With proper planning, we can help protect your life savings and get you the Medicaid and nursing home benefits you deserve.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Samasco Law today.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, so the triple Whammy. Jerry falls off the ladder, horribly injured. Let's talk to Jeff in terms of applying for Social Security disability. He's got to go through and get to that 1 year period. He doesn't have workers' comp. It's too bad. If he did, that would at least be covering the shortfall in their income right now. So he's got available credit on his credit cards, on Jerry's, and also so does Rita. Okay. Should they use those cards to continue to cover their expenses, make their mortgage payment? Because they're sitting there saying, well, I don't know that I'm going to be able to pay these cards back, because if Jerry doesn't get back to work, I'm not going to have $125,000 income. Is there anything wrong with using the card?
So the answer is yes and no. There's at the end of the day, you're going to do what you need to do for your family. But if you're going to take some direction as to which credit cards you should use and which ones you shouldn't use, the first place is between Jerry and Rita, don't run up Rita's credit cards. Rita is collectible.
Because she's working.
Because she's working. She's got a job. Jerry, self-employed, one, generally not collectible in the first place. Very difficult to collect from a self-employed individual.
Not working.
Not
no
working.
income.
Social Security's not collectible anyway.
Yeah, and if you
Just
receive
that
Social
applies to Social Security income and,
workers'
Social
comp.
and also Social Security disability, right?
Right.
as
Except
long
for
as
on
you,
the federal tax
yes,
side.
as long as your Social Security goes into a bank account that does not commingle any other money,
All right, so
Social
back to
Security
the-
money can't
all
be
right, so
garnished.
Use
Except for
Jerry's.
IRS.
So use Jerry's cards. If Jerry is in a vegetable state at this point, not really conscious and capable of making his decisions, but Rita has a durable power of attorney for him, can she use his cards for him?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
So all right, so once Rita uses up Jerry's cards, you're saying use Jerry's cards first, should she use hers?
Well,
See, here's how I look at
it comes
this.
down to
How
yes
is she
or
going to
no.
make her mortgage payment? How is she going to put food on the table for her children?
She's going to do what's necessary to keep that food on the table, okay? But you can't just step into us and just willy-nilly use the cards without having some sort of plan. This
so you
is
should get some counsel.
because you've got some issues here. Jerry, when he collects his Social Security disability, he's going to get back pay for anywhere from 12 to
What's he going to get?
36 months of back pay, right? A
Well,
lump sum.
Once
yeah,
you get-
usually when you're found to be disabled, there's a 5-month waiting period. So it's usually the 6th month following the date that they found you to be disabled.
How much will Jerry get if he was making $80,000 a year and paying into the system?
My guess is probably
$1,800
$1,800 to $1,900 a month.
And how much
Not
is his
enough.
back pay?
Not enough.
$1,800 a month, whatever.
Right, his
the
back pay is going to be.
Well, it depends on
5
when we
months.
Is that
file. It's
taxable?
all math
No.
in terms
Yes.
of how back we file, but certainly could be
Well,
But
12
with-
months to 12 to 16
Based
months,
on the
depending on how
formula.
far back we go.
Let me just throw one thing out. There is never a good answer in this situation. Everyone
Because-
is horrible.
Because you can't come up with, you can't
Right.
replace
But
the income.
so this is what you said was really important at the very beginning. How many times does he go up a ladder a day? 1,000,000. How many times could he slip? 1,000,000
Every time.
times. You got to look at that before the fall to get that disability policy, right? That would have been the fix here. That disability policy would have been the fix, but no one wants to pay for it because they think it's expensive, and they have other iPods to buy and a trip to Florida to buy.
I
They
mean, what
gotta
would you? I don't have the stats in front of me. What do you think the percentage of people have insurance in that circumstance?
less than 1%.
I'd probably agree with Pat. I mean, it's a tiny amount.
What did you see the people that don't have the insurance?
Well, I have it, so I'm part
How
of that
many
1%.
people in here have
Yes,
it?
most people.
But how many painters
I
or
just got
workers come
mine.
in and that are self-employed and have any kind of disability insurance?
It's slim, but you'd be surprised. Guys who are in more hazardous businesses have the foresight when they're going to go into business to at least have some other policy.
Or
because
they have the wife that has the foresight to get the policy.
that possibly
it's an
too.
important. It's an
But
important.
husband's never going to get sick.
Okay. All right. So we're saying use the credit cards.
Right.
Because you got to do what you. We're saying you got to do what you've got to do.
But
to
if you
survive
got
in
to
this
borrow, if
circumstance.
you got to get money from your mom now there's a big thing. Mom's got $100,000 in the bank. I'm going to go get $100,000 from my mom.
Well, that's good.
It is good unless she has to go to the nursing home. Because if she gives you the money and she's in the nursing
You're
home, the
talking
next
about what if we have mom
Medicaid.
needing Medicaid?
If
planning?
mom
So
needs
mom
Medicaid-
gives Rita and Jerry $50,000.
If
to help.
mom's in the nursing home in the next 5 years and needs Medicaid, they got to give it back, or Medicaid will never ever.
Well, Jerry
pay.
and Rita don't have it to give it back.
Then mom's moving into Jerry's basement because Medicaid will not pay the nursing
What's the
home.
workaround there?
You if you're going to do it, you have to become a legitimate loan that mom loans the money that has an interest and an payment stream back, so it's not a divestment. It has to be a legitimate loan.
So mom should loan the money to Jerry, not to Rita, because
No.
Jerry's not going to be working.
No, you
Why
see,
not?
because at the end of this, maybe that happens after we do what we need to do for Jerry. Because the end game here, believe it or not, is Jerry has to file bankruptcy.
So does
So if
Rita.
mom loans the money to
And
Jerry.
so does Rita. You're
I
right.
think we're
why,
missing
why does that
something
hurt
here.
for mom on protecting her Medicaid if
Well,
she
it
loans the
depends,
money to
'cause
Jerry?
now they got money in the bank and they can't qualify for bankruptcy.
I want to.
Oh, I'm saying mom loans the money to Jerry. Jerry spends the money, then files the bankruptcy.
Well, if
you don't
that-
want
if-
the money in the bank.
Right.
Gotcha.
We have to take a step back because what you have to realize is the Internal Revenue Service can get your full back pay of Social
Oh,
Security.
now we have to hear from Jenny about the Internal Revenue Service. Don't we have enough problems right now with the disability, the credit cards, food on the table? Now you got to bring in the IRS.
Here's
You
what's
really
going to
wanna
happen,
hear
though,
about
too.
that?
Mom's going to give them the $50,000. The IRS is going to levy the bank account, and it's going to be gone if you don't take care of that first.
Did you guys know that Jenny's other name sometimes is Debbie Downer?
Yeah. So,
I've heard that before.
but there's timing issues here too. You said that they owe back taxes for 14, 15, and 16.
That's because they
As
didn't pay
of
before.
April of this year, 14 and 15 are dischargeable in bankruptcy. 16 is not until another year from now. So all of this timing
Well,
needs to be
almost,
looked at.
because
All right,
Almost.
let's
Yeah.
you gotta
take a
get
break.
past
When we come
April.
back, let's address the tax issue in an organized fashion with Debbie Downer.
Yes.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
Will I outlive my money?
Medicaid is so confusing.
A will, or do I need a trust?
What if mom needs to go in a nursing home?
At Samasco Law, we have the answers to all of these questions. Our attorneys will eliminate the confusion and develop a plan that's right for you. We are dedicated to veterans benefits, assisted living, and nursing home care. Samasco Law can help prepare you for a long future. Call Samasco Law today.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Time for announcements. Want to remind our viewers to listen to us for Law and Reality Live on the Praise Network, 93.5, 98.3, and 99.9 FM, Tuesdays 10 o'clock a.m. and Saturdays 7 a.m., and then on KISS 105.9, Sundays 7 o'clock a.m. Be sure and sign up for our monthly contest. Free $50 Visa gift card, Law and Reality golf hat, and a copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. We've got seminars coming up. Wednesday, March 13th, 6 to 7:30 p.m., we have an estate planning seminar, Why You Need an Estate Plan. We're going to talk about the elements of an estate plan, documents you must have while you're living, documents addressing what happens when you pass away, how to address probate issues. Jeff Linden, Brian Small, and myself will be presenting. Attendees get a $300 gold certificate off the cost of an estate plan. You want to sign up at thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or call 888-235-HELP. Then on Wednesday, March 27th, 6 to 7:30 p.m., we have another debt relief seminar, Time to Spring Me from the Debt Burden. Get that Spring Me, March 27th, it's spring. We're going to talk about all the ways that we use to preserve future income for you and your family, solutions outside of bankruptcy, solutions using bankruptcy. The key element is you need to get rid of the debt so you're not taking all your disposable income and paying it on those credit cards. You'll never have any money to save for retirement if you do that. Jenny Lingl will do a special segment on how to resolve tax issues. Attendees get a free copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. Sign up at thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or call 888-235-HELP. Now, I want to remind our viewers you can always come in for a free consultation at THAV Gross. Just call 888-235-HELP or go online and sign up on the website. Debt issues with Brian, tax issues with Jenny, estate planning issues with Pat or with Brian, elder law issues with Pat, business law issues with myself, disability with Jeff Kirshner, criminal issues with Corey Silverstein. Just take advantage of the free consultation. They are not a meet and greet. You come in, we tell you what you need to do, we tell you the steps that need to be taken, we tell you how much it'll cost. You get a complete plan of action as to how to address your problem. Sign up at lawandreality.com again or call 888-235-HELP. Also, go online on our website for free reports. We have a brand new report, Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions, written by Jenny Lingl and myself, How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure, Retiree's Guide to Social Security from Pat Samasco, and Business Formation Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in the Detroit area. All you do is click on the link and the report gets downloaded to you. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV Gross, Samasco Law, Jeff Kirshner Law offices of Corey Silverstein. Now back to the show.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
I have to start off by apologizing for
To Debbie?
calling you Debbie Downer.
It's Deborah.
During the course of the break, Jenny
That's
suggested
Mrs.
to me
Downer.
that it was not
Mrs. Downer to
appropriate
you.
for me to say that to her. So I am out there. My apologies. Jenny Downer, go ahead and please explain to us the correct
Okay,
approach.
so they owe for 14, 15, and 16. It looks like they're married filing jointly. So a lot of companies are going to say, oh, we'll just put you into an offer and compromise. The problem is that the wife has $75,000 in her 401k or her IRA, and that is included in the calculation for an offer. What we would be looking at is they could do an installment agreement, a 72-month direct debit installment agreement, but they can't afford it.
Right.
So what we're going to look to from them is a short-term solution, which is going to be currently not collectible. Some people think of it like deferring a student loan. What it is the liability remains, but the IRS agrees you can't afford to make a payment. So what they do is they put you in currently not collectible, and it's good for at least 24 months. In this situation, I think we can make the argument that they're going to need to use the IRA in order to live and to possibly
for the
pay
regular expenses.
medical bills. And since CNC is not an offer, that argument usually flies. Then what happens is we look at it and we say, okay, 2016 was due in 2017, so as long as you didn't file an extension, in April of 2020 you can discharge it in bankruptcy. So what our plan usually is to get you into uncollectible, to keep you there, and then I give them the date where I say, okay, you're going to come in and you're going to meet with Brian at
So
this
you don't
point.
want them to file bankruptcy till 2020 in this situation.
So we can get rid
Brian,
of all the taxes.
Can they survive till then?
Thanks, Deb. Appreciate that. So here's the thing.
That was good.
Okay, so we have two competing interests here. We have a need to get rid of the underlying debt, whether it's the credit cards for the husband and wife,
Credit cards and taxes.
and the taxes. We also have to get the Social Security Disability Award.
We got to get it in and spend it.
And
We gotta get it in.
need to have not received it
Well, that's going to be a problem.
before we file the bankruptcy.
Jenny
No,
wants
that's
to wait
not
till
true,
2020.
Brian. You and
Wait,
I worked this
hold
a
on,
lot
wait.
because the money is gone for
Then if the
necessary
money-
living
Okay, let's
expenses.
vote.
No,
Are we
no.
voting in favor of Jenny or Brian?
Stop for a
Okay,
second.
sorry.
If you receive the money,
Thank you.
you can only protect $12,250 of it.
If you haven't gotten it.
If you haven't, you can protect all of it because it's your right to receive it is
Okay,
protected.
so what do we do? Because here's the timeline. You just created a timeline to 2020. You're going to be collecting this disability check in.
Well, here's the deal: is that we're going to apply. Statistically, most people get denied on their initial application after 90 to 120 days, and then we have to take another 14 months before we get a hearing on the case.
So
we're
we
looking a
can
year and a
probably
half out
time-wise get to
Social
the
Security.
point where
So you're probably right around the 2020.
right. If we file
works for
the
you.
day before the check is to be issued, we're good.
So we want to get to 2020 to discharge the taxes. We want to file the return just before you're getting the money. Can we know how much money's coming, but the check
Yeah.
isn't to us as long as we haven't gotten the money?
100% right to receive, 100% protectable.
But we've done it before where our plan hasn't worked accordingly, and then what we do is we move our bankruptcy date because a lot of people in this
Absolutely.
situation are behind on their mortgage. They're behind on their medical bills.
Let me make a big point that people don't realize. What the difference between good planning and good counsel and lousy counsel. Jerry and Rita have a horrific problem today. He fell off the ladder. You're going to go into people and they're going to say, I want to put you into a bankruptcy right away because they want to get a fee to bankruptcy. I want to do an offer and compromise right away. The analysis in this case is good counsel is a waiting game and a process of monitoring. We want to collect, we want to put ourselves in a position where we're going to get the money, but we want to wait till 2020 to file the bankruptcy. We don't want to do an offer and compromise because that extends the statute. Instead, we want to do currently not collectible. The right counsel in this case is to monitor the situation, create the plan, and the action is not going to incur until 2020.
And then mom, who's going to help out her son, buys the food and puts it on the table, doesn't give the money to the son. She
And
goes
that-
to Kroger's
and that protects
buys
the
it.
Medicaid issue for mom.
Yeah.
There are so many interrelated issues that you have to look at. You need to plan properly. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.